You know, that moment when you sit down with your cup of coffee, open the mail, and out come the monthly bills, electric, groceries, maybe a surprise medical charge you don't even remember authorizing. And even though the house is quiet now, the kids are out on their own. The days feel freer. Somehow, the budget feels tighter than ever. It's not because you've done anything wrong. In fact, if you're over 70 and living in retirement, you've likely spent decades doing everything right, working hard, saving what you could, dreaming of the day you'd finally get to slow down. But no one warned us that spending in retirement has a few hidden traps. Sneaky ones that aren't always about big purchases, but rather little leaks, the kind that quietly drain your financial peace of mind. And here's the kicker. Most of these traps aren't about being reckless. They're about being human. They're tied to our generosity, our desire for comfort, or just plain confusion about what things should cost these days. That's why today, I want to walk alongside you, not lecture you through 5 of the most common spending traps that sneak up on people in their 70s and how you can easily avoid them. Whether it's rising medical bills, the urge to help out the grandkids a little too often, or the fact that Amazon makes it way too easy to click buy now, we'll cover it all in a friendly, practical way. Because the truth is, you deserve to enjoy this season of life. You deserve freedom, not worry. You deserve a financial plan that works with your lifestyle, not against it. And with just a little awareness, a few simple adjustments, and maybe a new mindset or two, you can make your money last longer and feel more joyful doing it. So, if that sounds good to you, take a second, just one moment to like this video. Subscribe to Vibrant Elders so we can keep bringing you helpful insights. And leave a comment if there's a spending area you've been wondering about. You're definitely not alone. Now let's get into it. Let's uncover these 5 traps. Starting with a big one that hits almost every retiree I know, the unexpected and often rising costs of healthcare. Stick with me. Trap 1, rising healthcare costs. Let's talk about the one expense that seems to sneak into every conversation once we hit our 70s. Healthcare. You'd think that after all these years of paying into Medicare and trying to live healthy, we'd be in the clear, but the truth is, healthcare doesn't just go away in retirement. It often becomes one of the biggest drains on your budget. It starts small. Maybe you notice that your monthly Medicare premium has inched up again. Then come the copays. The prescription that used to be $5 now costs $40. The dentist says you need a crown, and oh, by the way, Medicare doesn't cover dental, or hearing aids, or vision exams. Before you know it, you're spending hundreds, sometimes thousands, out of pocket and wondering how it got so expensive. According to Fidelity's annual retirement report, a 65-year-old couple retiring today can expect to spend over $300,000 on healthcare over the course of their retirement. That doesn't include long-term care. That's just for premiums, copays, prescriptions, and routine needs. And it's not just the numbers, it's the unpredictability. One hospital visit, one unexpected test, one surgery, and your savings can take a hit you weren't prepared for. But here's the good news. While we can't control every medical need that might pop up, we can prepare better for the financial side of it. Start by reviewing your Medicare plan every year during open enrollment. It might feel like a hassle, but plans change, networks shift, drug tiers update, coverage options evolve. Maybe last year your plan covered your favorite cardiologist, but this year they're out of network. Catching that early can save you thousands. Look into Medigap coverage if you haven't already. Yes, it costs more upfront. But for many people, it ends up saving them far more in the long run, especially when the big stuff hits. Think of it like insurance on your peace of mind, and don't forget the little things. Ask your doctor if generics are an option. Shop around pharmacies. Yes, prices vary. Some retirees have found their prescriptions cost 50% less at a different chain or a local pharmacy. Others use services like GoodRx or AARP's prescription discounts. Let me give you a real story. Zhang, a retired teacher in Oregon, was paying over $200 a month for her Medigap premium. Her friend told her she was crazy. That's too much. But then Zhang had a bad fall and needed a hip replacement. The hospital stay, the rehab, the follow-ups, it was all covered. She didn't pay a dime out of pocket beyond her monthly premium, that $200. It saved her over $9,000 in 1 year. So yes, healthcare can be a trap, but not if you plan ahead. Check your options and take advantage of the tools available to you. Coming up next, we'll take a look at another sneaky spending habit. When the little pleasures of retirement quietly turn into a monthly budget buster, let's talk about lifestyle creep. Trap 2. Lifestyle creep and guilt-free overspend. Retirement is supposed to be the time you finally get to enjoy the little things: lunch with friends, picking up a new hobby, treating yourself to something nice without asking permission. And honestly, you should enjoy it. You've earned that freedom. But here's the catch. When those little indulgences start to pile up quietly in the background, your budget can start slipping away without you even noticing. Let me explain what I mean by lifestyle creep. It's when small upgrades and extra streaming service here, dinner out a couple times a week, picking up new golf gear, or adding one. More class at the local art studio start to become the norm. At first it feels like, well, why not? But by the end of the month, your credit card bill starts to look a little more lively than you expected. This isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. You're not doing anything wrong, but without tracking, it's easy to drift. One of the smartest things you can do in your 70s is a little monthly self-check. Not with a spreadsheet or fancy software, just a simple list. Ask yourself, which expenses are making me happier? Which ones just slipped in? Here's something that works for a lot of folks. The 24-hour pause rule. When you see something you want, whether it's that $200 new gadget or signing up for another travel subscription, don't say no. Just say, let me think on it for a day. Often, that pause gives you enough time to decide whether it's really worth it or just a passing urge. Another method. Try what we call a joy reflection. At the end of the month, look back and ask, what did I spend money on that brought me joy? What didn't? You'll be amazed how that awareness alone shifts your choices. Let me tell you about Bob's a retired contractor living in Arizona. He started taking painting classes at a local art center, $100 a month. At first, he felt a little uneasy about the cost, but after a few months, he realized it had become the highlight of his week. So he kept that expense, but trimmed others. He dropped a premium cable package he never watched and stopped buying coffee out every morning. Just like that, he made room for joy without overspending. So here's the thing. Lifestyle creep doesn't mean you're living too large. It means your spending should match your values, not your impulses. Coming up, we're going to look at one of the most emotional spending traps of all. When giving too much to loved ones ends up leaving you short. Let's talk about generosity and boundaries with family. Trap 3, overhelping adult children and grandkids. We love our families. That's not up for debate, and as parents and grandparents, we often feel a quiet pull to keep showing up financially, whether it's to help cover rent, chip in for college, or fund a vacation we know they can't quite afford on their own. Helping out just feels like second nature, but here's what happens more often than we talk about. In trying to be generous, many seniors end up putting their own financial stability at risk. It usually doesn't happen all at once. It starts small. Maybe you offer to cover a car repair for your grandson. Then your daughter's between jobs, so you offer to help with groceries. Before long, you're dipping into savings more often than you planned, and there's no clear end in sight. Now, this isn't about being selfish. It's about being sustainable. If you drain your nest egg today, who's going to help you 10 years from now if your health changes? As uncomfortable as it feels, the best gift you can give your family is long-term independence, not just for them, but for you. So let's talk about what healthy support looks like. First, consider setting up a giving fund. One retiree I spoke with, Diane, did this brilliantly. She created a separate account with $100 a month earmarked for family gifts. Birthdays, back-to-school help, surprise little treats, it all came from that account. And when it was empty, she paused until it refilled. No guilt, no resentment, and everyone knew the boundaries. Another tip, have clear conversations. I know nobody likes talking money with family, but it can be gentle. You might say something like, I want to help when I can, but I also need to make sure I can take care of myself for the long haul. That one line sets a powerful, respectful tone. Also, avoid co-signing loans. It may feel like a loving gesture, but if the loan goes unpaid, you're the one holding the bag. The same goes for being the fallback source when adult kids hit a rough patch. Instead of stepping in automatically, consider helping them find resources or making a one-time gift with clear terms. Look, your kids and grandkids love you for who you are, not what you give, and when you set boundaries with love, you're modeling financial wisdom that they can carry forward. Now let's turn the corner. You've guarded your giving heart. But what about the stranger on the other end of the phone or the computer? Coming up next, we'll talk about scams and impulse spending and how to avoid getting caught off guard. Trap 4. Scams, impulse buys, and online ease. Let's be honest, technology has made life a whole lot easier. You can refill prescriptions, buy groceries, even attend a doctor's visit right from your living room. But with that convenience comes a quiet little trap. Spending fast, easy, and sometimes dangerous spending. It starts with a pop-up. Your computer is infected. Click here for help. Or maybe a message from someone who looks like your grandchild saying they've been in an accident and need money fast. Or more sneakily, a little late night online shopping, you see a good deal, and with just 2 clicks, it's on your doorstep. Repeat that a few times a month and you've spent hundreds without even realizing. Scammers are getting bolder and smarter every year, according to the Federal Trade Commission. Older Americans lost over $13 billion to fraud in the last year alone, and that's just the cases that were reported. The biggest culprits? Tech support scams, fake romance requests, Medicare cons, and phishing emails that pretend to be your bank or utility company. So how do you protect yourself? The first step is simple. Pause. If something pops up or someone calls claiming there's an emergency, pause. Scammers want you to act fast because fast equals fear. Slow equals safe. Second, verify. Don't click the link. Don't give out your account number. If it's supposedly your bank, call the bank using the number on the back of your card. If it's your grandchild, ask a question only they'd know, or better yet, call their parent. Linda, a 73-year-old viewer of this channel, shared her strategy with us. Anytime she gets a suspicious message, she calls her daughter first. That one habit saved her nearly $2,000 last year when she received a fake Amazon alert about an unauthorized charge. The scammers tried to get her to log in through their link, which would have stolen her password. Her daughter said, "Don't click anything, let's call Amazon together." Sure enough, it was a scam. And then there's impulse spending. Those online deals are designed to trick your brain into feeling good in the moment and leave you with boxes piling up and bills adding up. The fix: try the 48-hour rule. If you see something you want online, bookmark it and wait 2 days. Most of the time, you'll realize you didn't really need it, or the urge will pass entirely. Here's the truth. Protecting your money doesn't mean living in fear. It means living with confidence. And that confidence comes from having a few smart habits and knowing the red flags. Next up, let's talk about the stuff that piles up and how it might be costing you more than you think. Trap 5. Accumulating stuff and maintenance costs. It's funny how things add up, isn't it? You start with a second car you barely drive. Then there's the old treadmill in the guest room, the just-in-case kitchen gadgets, the storage unit you've been meaning to clean out for 5 years. Before you know it, you're not just surrounded by stuff, you're paying to keep it all. This trap isn't just about clutter, it's about silent money leaks. That second car, even if it just sits there, you're paying for insurance, registration, maybe even repairs if it won't start when needed. That storage unit, national averages say around $90 a month, or $1,080 a year just to store things you likely haven't used in ages. Multiply that by a few years and you could be funding a cruise, a home improvement, or a few months' worth of groceries. Earl, a retired veteran from Arizona, realized he was spending nearly $1,500 a year storing tools and furniture from a house he sold a decade ago. One weekend, with help from his grandson, they sorted through the storage unit. He donated half, sold the rest on Facebook Marketplace, and pocketed nearly $2,000. With that, he finally upgraded his bathroom for safety and comfort, something he'd put off for years. That's the power of awareness. So how do you avoid falling into this trap? Start with what I call the annual inventory walk. Once a year, spring is a great time. Walk through your home, garage, and even your financial statements. Ask yourself, do I use this? Do I enjoy this? Is it costing me money I could use better? Next, review your memberships and subscriptions. Are you paying for streaming services you don't watch? A gym membership you haven't used since 2019. It's not about cutting joy, it's about focusing it. And here's a trick that makes this fun. Create a declutter dividend. Every dollar you save or earn by clearing out stuff, put it into something that brings true value, a special dinner with a friend, a garden upgrade, or that trip you've been dreaming about. Less stuff, less stress, and more freedom. That's not just financial advice, that's life advice. And it leads us perfectly into our final thoughts: how to take all these spending insights and turn them into lasting confidence. Let's take a breath together. We've covered a lot, but in a way that should overwhelm you. Hopefully instead, you feel more like someone who just cleaned their reading glasses and can finally see where they're headed. That's the power of awareness. We talked about 5 traps that quietly sneak into our lives after 70. Rising healthcare costs that catch you off guard. Lifestyle creep, that slow drift where small pleasures stack up before you know it. The tender habit of overhelping our grown kids and grandkids, which sometimes drains us more than it supports. Then those pesky scams and online temptations that feel like a game of whack-a-mole. And finally, all the stuff that costs more to keep than to let go. The good news? You don't have to fix everything today. You don't even have to fix all 5. Just choose one area where you see yourself nodding along and thinking, yep, that one sounds familiar. Start there. Make one small shift, whether it's canceling a subscription, checking your Medicare coverage, setting a monthly gift limit, or simply opening that storage closet with a curious heart. You've lived through decades of change. You've raised families, built careers, handled loss, found joy again. This chapter of life isn't about restriction, it's about refinement. About making sure your money supports what matters now: peace of mind, connection, joy, and freedom. And you're not doing this alone. We've built this channel. Vibrant elders for you, for the questions you don't want to Google, for the advice that feels like it's coming from someone who's been there. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe so you don't miss future insights, and share this with a friend who might be nodding along just like you did. Most importantly, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 traps surprised you most? Have you faced one already and found a way through it? Let's learn from each other in the comments. Because this isn't just about saving a few bucks, it's about reclaiming your power, protecting your peace, and spending with intention. Your 70s and beyond deserve that clarity, so here's to less clutter, fewer worries, and more of what truly fills your heart. You've earned it.